onefootflipper.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Paige here, the 1 foot flipper. And I need to mention this every once in a while because I think some people watch me don't know why I'm the 1 foot flipper. I'm the 1 foot flipper because I literally only have 1 foot. I lost my right leg in 2019, and since then I've been a full-time eBay seller and now part-time YouTuber, and hoping to expand the YouTube in the future just because, you know, I love YouTube now just as much as I love reselling, so I'm going to try to focus on both, do the best I can there. Today we're going to look at 8 reasons why your eBay items aren't selling. And for this first reason, we're going to say your titles or your photos are bad. You know, it's the listing quality itself. Maybe the item's fine, maybe the price is fine, but you've got bad photos, bad titles. I don't see this as much as I used to, but they are still out there like crazy. It did not take me all that long to find listings like this one. Laptop computer, Windows 11, used. And there's no item specifics or descriptions on this laptop. No idea what you're even buying. You can see that it's an HP, and that's it. You know, that could vary in value between $50 and $3,000. Could be anywhere in there. So who would buy this item being unable to tell? You can't. Or, since I was specifically searching laptops for this, I also found laptop lot of 2. The photos show 3 laptops, and even more confusing, they do describe the laptop lot, and they only describe two lots, but then they have it listed as a quantity listing with 2 available. Nuts. And you just see this all over the place. Used iPhone, blue shirt, you know, old telephone. There are quite a few of them, and maybe you've still got some of those. I know you're not doing this now. My viewers are not doing this now, but you might have some old ones still hanging around in your store. You need to check. All right, since the last video, I sold 5 gourds. They've all already left the house. I know I had promised I was going to be more straightforward and show you the real gourds every time, but these already left the house, so pretend like they all look like this, because that's pretty much what they look like anyway. All right, your second thing is that you're listing things with very slow sell-through rates and saturated categories. Maybe it's because they're things that used to be good, but now they're not. You know, your Beanie Babies, M&M dispensers, fidget spinners. Maybe you're selling unremarkable used clothing, postcards, low-dollar trading cards. Those things do not move very fast. My 11,000 item trading card store sells 6 items a day. That's over a 5-year sell-through rate. And that's honestly not even all that bad for low-dollar trading cards for a sell-through rate. That store that I no longer put things into still clears me about $300 a month after all expenses, so it still stays open. But also I want to tell you, that store has nearly a 50% sell cost. So I'm clearing $300 a month on it, but the store brings in like $578 a month. So $278 of that goes to eBay taxes and shipping. Just something you want to think about before you're selling a ton of cheap items, that you're only keeping about half that money. It's not great. All right, I'll put it up on the screen because I forgot to bring one back here. Sold a Death Pile Monster to Phil. No store, no message. So, hey, thanks a lot, Phil. Hope it helps you get a store going or follow that dream you want to have. Okay, your third reason why your items might not be selling is because if you're like most eBay sellers, you make a lot of listings, you fire things in, and then you forget about those things forever. You don't ever change anything, you don't look back, and you don't price research, you don't look back at your items later. And what happens is that the average eBay seller gets this ever-growing store in which almost every item in the store has something making it extremely unlikely it will sell. And it doesn't even take a huge percentage of your listings to be problem for this to build up over time. You could, let's say you're awesome, you sell lots of stuff, and you list 1,000 items a month, and you sell 900 items a month. Or, you list 1,000 items a month and you only mess up on 10% of those items. Only 10% of them are bad listings, or your prices are unrealistic, or whatever else. But every month that means you've added 100 items to that store that are never going to sell. So after a year, you've got 1,200 items in that store that'll never sell. For 10 years, you got 12,000 items in that store that are never going to sell. See how that can build up, even if you do things right most of the time? So that can happen. Your stuff isn't selling because everything you have left has gone bad. Either your price is bad or your listing's bad somehow. That's why I encourage everybody to use some sort of regular markdown schedule and to honestly be realistic with your initial prices. You don't have to get all the money, especially if you're space limited and you love sourcing. Most people love sourcing more than listing or shipping. So if you want to source more, you need to get these other items to move so you have more space in order to source more. You don't need to build up piles of stuff like this in areas that you're supposed to be walking around in. That's not a positive for your business at all. I sold this Invisible Crew World War II comic book for $40.49. Note, these never had a cover. This is a government issue. This is a government issue comic book. They never had a cover, and they were bound kind of untraditionally. It's held together only by a single staple. This is not in the traditional comics guide, but it is an item that's known. I guess it counts as a government publication or whatever. Or in the back, sorry, not a government publication. This was a giveaway from Bendix Aviation. But either way, it never had a cover. It just has this one ad for Bendix on the back. And that is it. I started this at $50, and it took a little while to sell for the $40.49, which was, I believe, a 10% off offer after I'd already dropped it 10%. Not bad. Fourth thing is your listing items that are off season. Everybody knows that, yeah, Christmas and Halloween sell all year round, but that is not 100% true of all Christmas and all Halloween. Like my Christmas ornaments that have the kids' names on them, like this one here that says Addison, and I have about 6 different varieties of these, so why don't you go ahead and buy them now. If you don't want a Death Pile Monster, get some ornaments with all your kids and friends' names on them. It'll be good for you. You should do it. Those only sell during Q4, and then I'll sell a tiny sprinkling of them in January, probably because Grandma realizes that she forgot somebody or one of them got broken or something else. So I'll usually sell a few in January when people are putting their trees away. And then the rest of the year, I might sell 2 all year. Well, I might sell 20 a day during Q4. I hope I sell 20 a day during Q4 this year. Last couple of years were pretty successful with them. And my craft gourds, you're seeing them in every video right now, but they only sell about 6 months out of the year. Like, sell a few in August and September and October are good. It's good while it's cold, and then when it starts to warm up, nobody cares about a craft gourd again until they start thinking about fall. All right, I sold 3 train cars for a total $138.89. I have a circus car caboose, but it must have been a special order because it's plain black. It does not have the paint job nor the graphics that car normally comes with. Same deal. This is a circus car water tanker. Same thing. Must have been a special order. No paint job, no graphics. And this is called an East Broad Top. And this does have graphics and a paint job. They all went to the same customer. And they're going to get a combined shipping refund because I do put in my train listings. If you buy multiple train items that I'm not trying to make money off the shipping, I will combine the shipping and send you back anything extra past my costs. And when I say past my costs, I do include the fact that eBay is going to charge me 13% on that, or if there's promoted listings, I include that. And if I have to purchase a box, I include that. I include all my costs when I combine shipping. Otherwise, you're throwing money away. Fifth reason. Right now, we're in an economic slowdown right now, at least as of when this video is coming out, and that's going to affect some sellers more than others. Things that are necessities and things that businesses need and things that are going to have to sell one way or another on a constant basis, they're going to do better right now than other items. but buyers are likely to shop around for the best price and be more selective. This can literally cause some sellers who have nothing but luxuries and collectibles that they price up to drop from having real sales constantly to having almost nothing, to having almost no sales, as that whole area has dropped down and their competitors with the cheaper prices or even the lower quality items are getting all of that reduced traffic and none is spilling over into their higher priced or higher end items. That's one reason why stores can just up and die, is just because of that. Or, a lot of people are spending all that money on their gas tank and on eggs and milk and other things, and they might not necessarily have the $59.99 to sell this Warhammer 40,000 Le Mans tank demolisher. But luckily, my customer did have the money, $59.99 plus shipping, of course. Sixth reason your item's not selling is that your item might need a unicorn customer that may never come along. Maybe you've got replacement parts. It's a replacement part for an appliance that has no real following or install base anymore. Or you might have the only 1994 Dodge Caravan ashtray on eBay, but is that customer ever gonna show up? Who's restoring a 1994 Dodge Caravan? I'm sure there's somebody. I'm sure there's some turbo 5-speed model out there that somebody's restoring, but even that person, if they do need the ashtray, those Dodge Caravans are still in the junkyard, and that guy's probably just going to go to the junkyard, strip out another Caravan, and or buy a whole other parts one. So that Caravan ashtray just might never sell. I know I've got a couple of obscure auto parts. Well, for the longest time, I had a couple of things that I stripped out of my van for various reasons listed on eBay. I had the only ones, and they still never sold. What did sell is this 3-foot-long flexible wooden snake. Isn't he cool? He sold for $23.56. I've seen a lot of things like that. It's segmented and everything, but I've never seen one so big. This guy is huge. I'm sure whoever got him is gonna love him. Your seventh reason is that maybe you're listing items that in all reality are not worth the amount of money it costs to ship. And this is actually, I think, most items. When if you go around your house and just look for stuff, you're going to find endless items that are not worth as much money as they cost to ship. It can be, a plain old 25-inch CRT TV set. It is not worth what it costs to ship that item. Things from the dollar store are usually not worth what they cost to ship, since they are sold for $1 and you're not shipping anything for less than $4. Furniture, unbranded stuffed animals that are dirty, unbranded used clothing. These items could be a penny with actual shipping, and they would just still never sell because the shipping is worth more than the item. It goes for a lot of framed pictures that might hang on the wall. It's really just endless. If you just start looking around your house, you'll find tons of stuff that's just not worth what it costs to ship. What is barely worth what it costs to ship, though, is the Love Bug Walt Disney sealed, $3.61 plus $5.99 shipping. Yeah, not a great sale, but I bought a whole box of sealed ones for fairly cheap, and I knew they'd all eventually sell. And I make a little bit on the shipping on those because I charge $5.99 for pretty much all my media mail shipping. And if it's not a record, I absolutely make money on the media mail shipping because records got a price of record box in there. But on that, it's just going to get a poly mailer. Or, sorry, that won't get a poly mailer. Since that's actually nice. That'll get a bubble mailer, but that's only like 20 cents, not $1 like a record mailer. So not as bad. Your eighth. Oh, and I sold this Risk Lord of the Rings Trilogy Edition rulebook, $1.99. I parted out a Risk Lord of the Rings trilogy that I got at the Goodwill bins. Actually, I didn't get all of the game. I believe I took the pieces, the instruction manual, and the cards. I left the board and the box behind, and the ring was missing. The Lord of the Ring out of the Risk Lord of the Rings is a bolo. The ring is the most valuable part. I think it's because it always goes missing. Some kid will put it on and it'll get separated from the game. And then anybody who wants to complete games got to find the ring. So if you see a Risk Lord of the Rings in the Goodwill bins or whatever, open it up, see if the ring's there. If the ring's there, just buy the ring. The soldiers and other pieces, they'll sell too, but the ring will sell for like $20 all on its own. And it, weighs a half of an ounce, so it's going to be like 20 cents at the bins prices, or 10 cents, depending on what your bins are worth. And don't feel bad about only taking pieces out of board games at the bins and leaving the rest of them behind. At least something. At least they get some money there, as opposed to, because most of those board games aren't worth. Most of those board games are going to end up in the trash at the end of the day, one way or another. So you might as well just take the good pieces out and let the rest of it end up in the trash, because that's what's going to happen. Because most of those board games aren't at the bins prices. They're usually incomplete, for one thing, or they fall into the not worth the cost of shipping category, or the barely worth the cost of shipping category. So resellers aren't buying them. People generally aren't shopping in the bins to collect, unremarkable normal board games. Just not happening. Or the few who do, they're going to have everything they ever wanted real quick. And then you're back to the same situation. Your eighth and most important reason is that your prices are bad. This is the number one, top of the heap reason why items don't sell. Let's say for a minute that you've got yourself a Quigley Down Under DVD.
Look what I got, Mr. One Foot Flipper. I'm going to make bank on this.
You've got it for sale on eBay. Like 430 other people do right now. And the median price that people have that DVD listed for is $9.93. Some of those are free shipping, some of them aren't. But that's the median ship price. And if those of you who forgot 6th grade math, median is not the average, median is the number in the middle. That means that of those 430 people, 215 of them have it cheaper than $9.93, and 215 of them have it more than $9.93. And those of you who follow some of the terrible advice or just follow what their mind might think, or terrible advice they might hear from other people, are going to look, and they're going to list theirs in the price in the middle at $9.93 or so, and it'll never sell. Using Terapeak to do research, and I only went back on the last 30 days because this item sells so often that I don't need to look at years of data on it. And I'm able to see that the average price a Quigley Down Under DVD sells for is $4.67 shipped. Now, and this item sells 100 times a month, multiple times per day. But there are very few unicorn sales of this item per month. Most, like I said, the average is $4.67. Every once in a while, a couple per month will somehow sell for $9 or $10 shipped. I saw one in the last 90 days that actually somehow sold for $15 shipped used. But that is that 1 in a million chance that person who probably had hefty promoted listings, somehow the person saw that one first and just bought that one without doing any other looking around. You can never count on that happening. You can't build your store around that happening because it is so incredibly rare that it's just not going to happen. All right, I think that's all I've got for today. Hey, do you know any other people with one leg or in a wheelchair? Why don't you tell them about this channel? If you don't know any people who are in a wheelchair or have one leg, why don't you find some people with 2 legs and tell them about this channel? I'd really, really love to get to 6,000 subs, because that was my 3-year goal for the channel. I'm still in the first year, but I am so close. I'm at 5,800 now, just a little push, and I can make my 3-year goal in 1 year. And that would just be the best thing you could do to help me out. Hey, thanks so much. Hope to see you again real soon. you.